Good evening. Welcome back my channel. The rain fell softly over Genoa City, turning the streets into blurred reflections of neon lights and lingering memories. It was the kind of evening that seemed to hold its breath, quiet, heavy, expectant. Inside Crimson Lights, the usual warmth felt dimmer than usual. Lily Winters sat alone near the window, her untouched coffee growing cold. Her eyes were distant, fixed on something beyond the glass, beyond the rain, beyond the city. Anyone who knew her would recognize it instantly. She was thinking about him. And as if summoned by the weight of her thoughts, the door opened. Kane Ashby stepped inside. For a moment, neither of them moved. The years between them, filled with love, betrayal, reconciliation, heartbreak, hung thick in the air. Kane stood just inside the doorway, his coat damp from the rain, his gaze locked on Lily like he wasn't sure if she was real. Lily felt it, that familiar pull, that dangerous, undeniable connection. But she didn't stand, didn't smile, didn't soften. Not yet. Kane took a slow step forward, then another, until he stood across from her table. Lily, he said quietly, just her name, but it carried everything. Lily finally looked up, her expression controlled, but her eyes betrayed her. Kane, she replied. No warmth, no anger, just acknowledgement. And somehow, that was worse. They had been everything once, young, reckless, in love. They had built a life, a family, a future that seemed unbreakable. Through trials and mistakes, through secrets and forgiveness, they had always found their way back to each other, until they didn't. Because some wounds didn't heal. Some trust, once broken too many times, couldn't be rebuilt. And Lily had learned, painfully, that love wasn't always enough. Can I? Kane asked, gesturing to the empty chair. Lily hesitated, just for a second. Then she nodded. Kane sat, leaning forward slightly, his hands clasped together, as if holding himself steady. I wasn't sure you'd meet me, he admitted. I wasn't sure I should, Lily replied. There it was, the truth, raw, unfiltered. Kane nodded slowly. Fair. A long silence followed. Outside, the rain tapped gently against the window. Inside, two hearts stood on the edge of something fragile. Kane took a breath. I need to ask you something, he said. Lily's eyes narrowed slightly. That depends. On what? On whether I'm ready to hear it. Kane held her gaze. I think you are. Lily leaned back slightly, crossing her arms, not defensively, but protectively. Go ahead. Kane swallowed, and then he asked it. Did you ever really stop loving me? The question landed like a quiet explosion. Lily's expression didn't change immediately, but something flickered behind her eyes. Pain, memory, truth. She looked away, toward the rain. That's not a fair question, she said softly. Why not? Because it assumes love is something you can just turn off. Kane's voice was steady, but there was a crack beneath it. Then answer it. Lily closed her eyes for a brief moment. When she opened them again, they were glassy, but strong. No, she said. Kane's breath caught. No, she repeated. I didn't stop loving you. For a moment, hope flickered in Kane's chest, but Lily wasn't finished. I just learned how to live without you. And just like that, the hope shattered. Kane leaned back slightly, absorbing her words. That's worse, he said quietly. Lily let out a small, humorless laugh. For you, maybe. For us, Kane corrected. Lily shook her head. There is no us, Kane. Her voice was firm, but her hands trembled slightly against the table, and Kane noticed. He always noticed. Kane leaned forward again, his eyes searching hers. Then let me ask you something else. Lily didn't respond. But she didn't stop him either. Kane took a breath. When everything fell apart, when we ended, he paused, choosing his words carefully. Was it really because you stopped believing in us? Or because you were afraid I'd hurt you again? The question cut deeper than the first. Because it wasn't about love. It was about trust. Lily's jaw tightened. You don't get to rewrite history, she said. I'm not trying to, Kane replied. I'm trying to understand it. You understood it then, Lily shot back. You just didn't care enough to change. Kane flinched. That one hit. I cared, he said. Not enough, Lily replied instantly. Silence. Heavy. Crushing. Then, Lily exhaled slowly, her voice softening just a fraction. I didn't stop believing in us overnight, she admitted. Kane watched her carefully. It happened slowly, she continued. Every broken promise. Every lie. Every time I had to question whether you were being honest with me. Kane lowered his gaze. And eventually, Lily said, her voice barely above a whisper, I realized I wasn't afraid of you hurting me again. She looked up, her eyes filled with something raw. I was afraid of staying. That was the moment everything shifted. Kane leaned back, running a hand through his hair, his composure slipping. I never wanted to be that person for you, he said, his voice strained. But you were, Lily replied, and you still might be. That hung in the air. Not an accusation, not a judgment, just truth. Kane sat there for a long time, saying nothing. The rain outside grew heavier, as if echoing the storm inside them. Finally, he spoke again. One last question, he said quietly. Lily hesitated. Kane, please. Something in his voice stopped her, a vulnerability she hadn't heard in a long time. She nodded. Okay. Kane met her eyes, and asked the question that would change everything. If I had been the man you needed, if I had done everything right, do you think we would still be together? Lily froze. Because this question wasn't about the past. It was about possibility, about the life they could have had, the life they didn't. Her heart pounded, her mind raced, and for the first time since he walked in, she didn't have an immediate answer. Lily looked down at her hands, then back up at Kane. Her voice, when it came, was soft. Maybe. Kane's eyes widened slightly. Maybe, he repeated. Lily nodded slowly. Yes, maybe. There was no bitterness in her tone, no anger, just honesty. But that's not the life we lived, she continued. That's not who we were. Kane leaned forward, hope flickering again. But people change, do they? Lily interrupted gently. Kane stopped. Lily studied him carefully. I think we grow, she said. I think we learn. I think we become more aware of who we are. She paused. But I don't think we erase the parts of us that caused the damage. Kane's expression fell. So that's it? He asked. There's no chance for us? Lily's eyes softened. That's not what I said. Kane looked at her, searching for clarity. Then what are you saying? Lily took a deep breath. I'm saying, loving you and being with you are two different things. That hit harder than anything else. Because love doesn't fix everything, she continued. It doesn't undo the past. It doesn't guarantee the future. Kane's voice dropped. But it should mean something. It does, Lily said. She reached across the table, just slightly, not touching him, but close enough to feel the connection. It means you mattered, she said. You still matter. Kane swallowed hard. And I'll always love you, she added softly. His eyes filled. But that doesn't mean we belong together. The rain began to slow. The world outside seemed quieter now. Lily pulled her hand back, standing slowly. Kane didn't stop her. Didn't try to argue. Because he understood, finally. This doesn't erase what we had, she said. It never could, Kane replied. Lily nodded. And it doesn't mean we won't find something again. Someday. Kane looked up at her. Together? Lily smiled sadly. I don't know. She picked up her coat, paused, then leaned down slightly, her voice barely a whisper. You asked me 3 questions tonight, she said. Kane nodded. And here's something you didn't ask. He waited. Lily met his eyes one last time. I forgave you, she said. Kane's breath caught. Long ago. And with that, she turned and walked away. Kane sat there long after she left, the coffee in front of him untouched, the chair across from him empty. But for the first time in a long time, he felt something shift. Not closure, not peace, but understanding, the kind that didn't come with easy answers, the kind that stayed. They change, they evolve, they break and rebuild in different forms. Kane and Lily's story wasn't over, but it wasn't what it once was, and maybe that was the point. Because sometimes the most heartbreaking questions don't just reveal the truth, they set you free. Thank you for watching. Write what you think about it. Subscribe to the channel.